Right, looks like we are live. Happy Tuesday, loves. If this is your first time checking out my Facebook Live, thank you so much for checking it out. My name is Dani LaBerry. I'm a virtual licensed psychotherapist and a happiness transformation coach. So I typically work with people who are feeling unfulfilled, unhappy, overwhelmed, anxious, stressed out. So, speaking of stress, tonight's Facebook Live is on stress awareness. So, healthy tips to manage stress and how to best cope with challenging situations. So we all experience stress in different ways. Stress can look different for each and every person. Most common explanation is a physical, mental, or emotional strain or tension. Stress is basically a reaction, our body's reaction, our mental reaction, where we feel it's a reaction to a situation where we feel either anxious or we feel threatened. So if you think back in primitive days, if you think of when we were just trying to stay alive, if we're running away from a tiger and just trying to stay alive that day, our heart is racing, stomach is tight, our palms are sweaty, the cortisol level is high. Nowadays, stress looks more like making ends meet, dealing with work, if you're having any conflict with your partner. So, learning to cope with stress in a healthy way will improve the quality of your life. So, common reactions to a stressful event, if you're kind of wondering, how would I know if my body is experiencing this stress? What does that look like? Disbelief or shock, numbness, difficulty concentrating, and making decisions, feeling sad, frustrated, feeling helpless, headaches, back pains, stomach problems, the use of alcohol or drugs. And eventually, if stress is not managed, it can even lead to things like a heart attack or a stroke, heart disease. So, let's go into the tips. So, a lot of our stress comes from situations that we cannot control. So, the first thing we need to do is acknowledge those situations in which we cannot control and let it go. What does letting it go look like? Shifting your thoughts. If you ever see in a comic strip someone's thinking a thought and it looks a little like this, right? Like a thought like this. Um, I can't believe this is happening. Why me? Just overwhelmed with negative thoughts. So shifting those negative thoughts to a neutral thought. And a neutral thought can be something like, we've always figured this out. We can get through this. Things that feel realistic and authentic, not completely fake. We don't want to go from negative to, oh, everything's just wonderful, because that won't resonate. It won't sit well authentically with you. What can you do to raise your vibration? To do things that help you feel comfortable or experience a sense of comfort, creating comfort for yourself when you're in that time of stress. What can you do when I say raise your vibration? So if you look at lower vibration, that would be emotions like sadness, anger, anxiety, jealousy, envy, insecurity, doubt. These are all low vibration emotions. Higher vibration or emotions are things like happiness, joy, excitement, love, right? So if you're feeling this is neutral and you're feeling low, what can I do to get back to a neutral space? Not necessarily positive and happy, but just to a neutral space. What can I do to raise my vibration? Meditating. I know sometimes I get people who are like, I hate meditation, Dani, I hate meditation. Even if you just start with, this is going to sound a little silly, but even if you just start with 5 seconds and 10 seconds, build your way up to focusing on your breath, closing your eyes and focusing on your breath. If you notice after, say, 20 seconds, you get distracted, start over, start to 5 seconds or 10 seconds again before you go back up to 20. The thing is, a lot of times when people say they don't like meditation, it's because they've never done it and then they go trying to do it for an hour, or they try to do it for 30 minutes, or sometimes they even try to do it for 10 minutes and they think they can't do it. That would be like never having played basketball and expecting to play with the NBA. So when you're meditating, start with 10 seconds, start with 20 seconds, start with something that's feasible, that's short, something where you feel like, you know what, I could do that. I could do that. So meditating, stretching, breathing. And when I say breathing, we're obviously breathing, but when you're doing the stretching, doing it concurrently. So as you're stretching, using your breath with the stretches. And when I say stretching, I am kind of trying to say yoga, but I know sometimes people are resistant to yoga. So stretching or even doing progressive muscle relaxation. So what that looks like is when you go from your toes all the way to your head, where you tighten your muscles, you breathe in, and then you release your muscles and you exhale. Why do you do this? Well, if going back to when I said earlier, when you're in stressful situations, right? Your adrenaline is high and you're trying to keep yourself alive. So your body is absorbing the stress. The muscles are absorbing the stress. So your muscles, you tend to walk around all day with this tension in your muscles, and that's why sometimes people walk around with pain, back pain, and all sorts of pain in their body, not realizing it's stress related. So when you go through, let's say you start with your toes, you curl your toes, breathe in, and you do that 3 times. And then you put your legs out in front of you and tense your calf muscles and your thigh muscles. Then you tense your shoulder muscles, bringing your shoulders up. Not your shoulder muscles, bringing your shoulders up to your ears and tightening the space between your shoulders and your neck. Breathe in and then exhale, releasing the tension. Doing that with your palms, with your facial muscles. And that is why yoga and stretching is so beneficial, because it gets to those places, that the parts that I just mentioned, those body parts I just mentioned, your toes, your calves, your thighs, these are all big muscle groups, but exception of toes. But these are very general spaces and areas of your body. Whereas if you do yoga, you can get into some muscle grooves there that sometimes you can't usually get to. So that's why people find that stretching and yoga is so helpful for stress, because you're tightening your muscles in such a way where you're intentionally stressing it out, and then you're using your breath to release the tension. So that helps a lot with stress. Drinking water. Now, I know that sounds a little funky, like what the heck does that have to do with stress? The reason I'm bringing that up is because a lot of articles I notice, and a lot of times people tend to say, to deal with stress, you need to eat healthy, you need to get sleep. But the thing is, sometimes when you're experiencing stress, you cannot sleep and you cannot eat. It affects that. However, our body is made up of at least 80% of water. So when your body is in a state of stress, if you notice it affects your appetite and you can't really eat anything, at least try to drink water. If you can drink water in a time when you're noticing your body's experiencing stress, you're keeping your body at least hydrated. Even if you're experiencing other signs and other things that you just can't seem to get through or control, consuming water is going to keep your body hydrated. So at least your body, between drinking the water and keeping your body hydrated, using your breath, using progressive muscle relaxation, that's going to help, and yoga or stretching, that's going to help your body physically with the tension and the stress that your body has absorbed. Now, the meditation, I forgot to mention this earlier. The reason why I bring up meditation is because what meditation does is when we're meditating, we get distracted, and that's okay. The point of meditation is to practice bringing yourself back from that distraction. So say we're meditating and I'm starting to get hungry. I wonder what I should eat. Nope, bring myself back. Meditating. What time is it right now? How long have I been meditating? Bring myself back. So the reason why you keep bringing yourself back, this right here, the meditating, bring myself back, getting distracted, bring myself back. This muscle, this skill, what you do is when you're meditating, you build that practice. And when you're in a stressful situation and your thoughts are overwhelming you, you now have the ability and the skill to go move from those negative thoughts and get yourself grounded to a neutral space. So hopefully all of that makes sense. So that's why I bring up meditation, not just because we're just going to zen out and pretend we're at the beach in the middle of chaos. It's the skill and the ability to move from distracting thoughts and getting yourself neutral or grounded. That is the ultimate practice of meditation. That's why it's teaching you. That's what it's ultimately teaching you. My last point is, or my last tip, recognize when you need more help, okay? If you're in a stressful situation and things are overwhelming and you feel like you are drowning, seek out help. Sometimes talking to family and friends is just not enough. Sometimes it's biased. Sometimes it's unproductive or counterproductive. Sometimes people leave feeling worse when they talk to their friend or family member than when they started the conversation. So I'm saying all this to say, reach out. If it's a therapist, a counselor, if you want to send me a message, but reach out and seek professional help. If this video, if you feel this live was helpful, please feel free to share this live. If you're watching this live and you have any questions or anything came up for you, please don't hesitate to send me a message. If for some reason you're not quite ready yet for therapy and you just want to stay connected with me or stay connected with my content, every Sunday night for the next, we have I think we have about, I want to say we have like 3 or 4 Sundays left. Every Sunday, my boyfriend and I lead a free book club, and the book is The Fifth Agreement. So you're more than welcome to join us for that. And also, I have 2 very private Facebook groups. If you want to join that, you just send me a message. One of them is for only women and the other one is for men and women. If you're looking for connection, if you're looking for support and inspiration and you're not quite yet ready for therapy or counseling or coaching, but you want to stay connected and you want to get inspired or support, feel free to send me a message and I'll definitely add you to those Facebook groups. I hope this was helpful. I can't wait to see you on the next Facebook Live. Thank you so much again for checking out my Facebook Live. My name is Dani LeBerry. I'm a virtual licensed psychotherapist and a happiness transformation coach. Have a great night. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you on the next one.